Hey guys, it's Felstrix. Welcome to Fel Streams. Today I'm going to give you the first time I played my Libram Paladin deck. We're going to see how it works, kind of go through it together. So on the first turn, I draw the High Abbess Alora, Lord Barav, Penflinger, and the Devout Pupil. I put the Pupil and Alora back because they're a little higher casting cost than I want early on in the game. I have the mana coin to help kind of speed things up a little bit too. My redraw is not bad. I have the Animated Broomstick and the Libram of Wisdom. This deck is all about lowering the casting cost of Librams for later on in the game. So my first turn I put the Penflinger out. It does 1 damage Battlecry and has a Spell Burst ability that returns it to your hand when you cast a spell. The spell that I just played was the First Day of School, which gives me 2 1-cost minions into my hand. That put the Penflinger back in my hand. During her turn, she healed herself for 2 mana, which of no consequence. So on this turn, I'm going to play the 1/1 Wind Fury Dragonhawk, and then I'm also going to play the Bloodsail Corsair. I could have put out a Silverhand Recruit, but the Silverhand Recruit's just a 1/1, whereas this way I have the 1/1 with Wind Fury and a 1/2 to kind of give me a little bit more defense on the early game. So this turn I play the Aldor Attendant, and I play the Hand of Vidal on the Wind Fury card, and I get myself a free draw on a card. Now this is where I make my first mistake of the game, well, my first big mistake, because I didn't attack with the Wind Fury. So I kind of set myself back a little bit there. Now one of the main things you'll notice about this priest deck and a lot of priest decks I've played is they're very focused on creature destruction, creature control, and health restoring. One of the main things that I like to do during my turns while I'm waiting is kind of look at the cards and think about what other cards I have and what I can do moving up. I play the Novus Engineer so I can draw another card, because there's not too much going on at this point. So I use my Libram of Wisdom, which, if you read the card, the Death Rattle puts it back in your hand, and it kind of backfires on me in this instance, as you'll see during her turn. So that spell, right, that creature she just cast, the Conjuring Infiltrator, Conjuring Infiltrator, that's a very interesting card because when it's destroyed, it destroys a random creature on the enemy side of the board. So you have to kind of think about how you want to attack that. Now, this, again, was early on in my career, kind of playing with this kind of stuff, and I didn't really understand that I'm better off letting the 2 damage come through to me and keeping my creature stacked so I can continually do damage than I am to try and wipe this lady out. Because, here we go, I killed her, she killed my Penflinger. Then I put out the Sahet Pride Lord. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing a lot of these names. I say them how I see them. Sometimes I get them right, sometimes I get them wrong. Please forgive me. There's not really much left that I can do while I'm waiting in her turn. This is the point where I show you that it kind of backfired on me. She controlled the card, and therefore she gets the Libram of Wisdom to her hand, which doesn't do me any good at this point. The Aldor Truth Seeker, that card reduces the cost of Librams in the deck by 2. So now I have a reduction of 3 total for any Libram in my deck. The card's a decent strength card, 4/6 taunt for 5 mana, that's okay. But it's really the Battlecry that is why you have the card in the deck. I should not have played the Animated Broomstick there because there's no cards to attack, there's no reason to play it. And that was obviously a mistake, her casting that on my character. And here's another mistake that I made. I should have saved Lord Barov for later in the game when there were more creatures on her side of the board for his ability to affect. When he comes into play, all minions' health are turned to 1. So it was beneficial at this point where I played the pen finger, killed the mob. Now I've got open room for 5 damage. Where, as you'll see as the game goes along, you'll notice there's a point where she has a lot of mobs out. If I had waited to play it at that point, I would have gotten more value for it. Especially when she has cards like Silence All Minions and things like that. It really negates all of their special abilities. So there's a Loot Hoarder, Death Rattle, draw a card. I'm going to play a Hero Power to summon a 1/1 Silverhand Recruit. At this point, I don't really have a lot of stuff to do because I haven't been holding cards for late game. I've kind of been trying to burn through them early on, trying to make an impact, where what I should have been done is just kind of playing a slow game and waiting. Now she's got a Skeletal Dragon where at the end of the turn, it summons a minion. I got another Aldor, High Guard, or whatever the card's called. So now I can play, again, a misplay. I should have waited for this. It's a card that gives all minions 1 health on the enemy side of the board. So I use my Silverhand Recruit to kill her dragon thing, and again, as I play the deck more, I learn more about the special abilities, how the things work, and I see more scenarios. At this point here, this is where I knew I kind of screwed the pooch, so to speak. If I had saved Lord Barov or the Libram of Justice, the weapon card that I have there, I could have played it at this point, and all of these minions would have been 1 health. So in the situation that I'm in, I see the cards that are up there, and for me, at this point, not knowing what I knew, I'm trying to kill the card that brings more minions into the game for her, when really I shouldn't have worried about it. I should have worried about kind of shoring up my defenses, because if she can only have 7 minions on the board, her hand is almost full, there's not a lot she could have done. It might have benefited me more to kind of sit back and let her gather cards, pull things in, because once your hand's full, you start burning off cards and you start taking fatigue damage. But I was young at this point, early in my kind of understanding of how to play the game. And it was kind of at this point here that I really knew that I had kind of screwed up. Even with the Libram of Hope in my hand, I don't have much hope of winning this game at all. She kills my Silverhand Recruit when it comes out. And at this point, I don't have anything from the catalog of cards in my deck. I pretty much burned all of the different cards out at this point that could have made an impact. So the game is over. One of the main things that I kind of want to showcase in the videos that I'm bringing you guys is we all make mistakes. We all screw up. It's all good. For more content like this, more things about trying to learn how to play and stumble through the game, subscribe and watch. Thanks for showing up, guys. I appreciate it.